Okay, hello everyone. I am Shamika Jefferson. I am the president of UHD NABA. Hello. We have new members, like e-board members right now. Sandra, right now, she is our secretary. She will be asking you guys for your email address. And we have Paulina is our new marketing chair.
Oh, yeah.
And we have a new external, but he's in class right now. His name is Jonathan, and Dom has moved up to vice president too. So congratulations, everyone.
Right.
So Adrian, you can take it over for now.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Adrian. Today we have a very special guest, Robert Dunlap, and he's from Inroads. If you guys aren't familiar with Inroads, tonight's the best night to learn about it. But this man has been there for 7 years. He's a assistant regional director. He's in charge of recruiting, internship placement, coaching and mentoring, client relationships, and leadership development training. He is also a lifetime NAVA member. Lifetime NAVA member. He's been on the board for, well, he was on national board of member directors for 12 years, and his wife is also a member too. So come to NAVA, you might find the one you love. You never know.
I'm just saying.
And his wife is also historic too. She's actually the first partner at her firm for BKD LLP. She's the first partner, first African American partner in the history of a firm. So we kind of have a legend in the room today. So Mr. Dunlap, whenever you're ready, you can take it.
All right. Thank you, Adrian, for those kind words. Would certainly like to give you what I feel is a strong takeaway for the importance of being in professional organizations. So the professional organization that I'm going to speak on just for a couple of moments is what I would call the magic of being connected to NABA. Now, as Adrian did mention, yes, and I will go ahead and say this, even if she was here, this is where my wife met me. Okay. Guys, you get it. Ladies are like, no, I'm not feeling that. And I know Alicia's not feeling it because she knows my wife. But yes, we did meet. NABA is a family, and the family is all over the country. So being a student at San Francisco State back, I'll just go ahead and say it, 1989, when I attended my first student conference in Dallas, that was my first professional trip. But on that trip, I got a chance to meet students from different schools from this side of the country, from Texas, from Washington State, from Oregon, and from California that I would have known otherwise had I not taken the opportunity to be a member, to be engaged, and to be awarded the opportunity to attend a conference in another part of the country. So from that, what did I learn? I learned professional skills about, the proper way to dress, the proper way to shake someone's hand, the power of networking. I learned the importance of internships. I learned at that time there was the big eight, kind of dating myself, but I learned about the importance of understanding that not all firms are the same. I learned that I had to understand myself in order to understand whether or not I wanted to go the big eight route, or did I feel from my personality that a smaller regional firm was a best fit for me. So I spent 4 years at Williams Adley and Company, which is a minority-owned firm that had offices in Washington, D.C., Oakland, and San Francisco. And, proudly, I say it was one of the best decisions that I could have made for me. But if it wasn't for NABA, I wouldn't have had that introduction. I wouldn't have had the introduction to a multitude of friends. As a matter of fact, two of them were actually in my wedding, my wife and one of the groomsmen that stood up for me. I say that is because I can't say that there's any place in the country that I can't go where I can't pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I'm in town. Let's go hang out. Let's go have dinner." And of course, when you're in their town, they pay. No, but seriously, the relationships, the job referrals, I can't say that I would be in the position that I am in, comfortable, confident, someone who can speak in front of very large groups. In 2004, I was awarded the Outstanding National NABA Member of the Year, and I had to speak in front of 4,000 people. Now, I couldn't have probably done that if I hadn't taken a leadership role in NABA to understand the importance of planning, delegating, and leading teams for a common cause. Because as the president of the region, I had a big team. So for the leadership team that's on this call, I want to congratulate you for taking the leadership challenge, and just know that your commitment to NABA doesn't end when you leave school. Okay. Now, if you did the math, 1989 to 2021, that's a lot of number of years. But I can say I'm a better person because of my time that I've spent in NABA and continue to participate in events, going to conferences, having to listen to the household CFO when I sometimes spend too much money. Yes, gentlemen, she manages the budget. But anyway, I would just encourage you to keep your commitment strong. It doesn't mean that you have to be a lifetime member of NABA, but your commitment should be one that you are truly committed to. And I'll answer any questions about NABA towards the end. But I really would like for you to walk away from this presentation with an understanding of how Inroads can impact your life as well. And I do have one of my new interns who's actually from the same hometown that I'm from back in Michigan. Janelle, you want to wave your hand? So you're going to hear from her in a while, and she's going to talk to you about her experience in applying, her experience in getting matched to an opportunity, her experience in being prepared for the interview and actually obtaining the interview. And she's going to talk to you a little bit about what we do in this Inroads relationship. So let me start by sharing with you a video that gives you in 4 minutes an opportunity to understand our history, an opportunity to understand some of the types of internships that we provide, and the impact that the family who founded Inroads has had, even though our founding father is no longer with us. So I'm going to ask somebody to give me a thumbs up, make sure that you can hear, and we're going to get started.
This would have been the mid-60s, very tumultuous time in American history. My dad would have inner city kids come spend the weekend at our home, which was in this suburban Connecticut town, quite an odd thing, but nonetheless, he was unwavered.
I remember coming home from college and finding out that my dad was going to leave the corporate world and start Inroads. In fact, Inroads headquarters was the chair in our living room. He took a bunch of school buses to the March on Washington.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are free at last!
He was changed forever. He came up with this idea to take kids who just didn't have a chance and put together a program that would get them into management positions in corporations and give them a way to move up. And that was the real brainchild of Inroads.
There's been an unlevel playing field in America for a long time. And that's what our founder, Frank Carr, was trying to resolve. There's unequal access of information, there's unequal access of opportunity, and there's unequal access of relationships. In order to build the workforce, we need to close that gap. Frank Carr started with African Americans in 1970. And today, with other minorities, we're now 28,000 alumni strong, and we've touched 154,000 lives.
Growing up with a single mother in a traditionally Indian background was challenging for me. No one in my family had been to college in America. No one had experienced the internship process. But in college, I realized that my background was actually an opportunity. Inroads provided me with a chance to stand at the same level as my peers who have so many resources and can refer to their families to provide them with their internships. Inroads is that family for me. I'm Arun Yakamurthy. I'm 21 years old, and I'm from Dallas, Texas. What initially caught my eye about Inroads was the corporate sponsors. I'm actually interning at Procter & Gamble.
Procter & Gamble is one of the largest purveyors of consumer goods in the world. Diversity in the workforce is important because if you have a workforce that fully reflects the society, then you have the greatest range of possibilities for innovation, for creativity that really fuels the growth in the company.
Inroads is one of the original leaders in opportunities for diverse individuals. It's important that companies like Procter & Gamble continue to infuse that kind of talent in order to not just be successful in their companies, but to be contributors as part of the overall society.
He sought Fortune 500 companies like an arrow going right for them. He knew they had the funds. He knew that they had the expertise. He needed their partnership in developing Inroads.
I'm doing exactly what the real professionals would be doing. I've had the chance to learn so much during this internship and narrow down what I really want to do with my life.
I think Arun is very well equipped to make it in corporate America. He's already demonstrated great leadership skills, great collaboration skills, the ability to execute against a plan. Arun has the ability to just jump right into a project pretty much day one.
An internship with P&G is not like some other companies where you're getting coffee and making copies. The work that you're doing is very meaningful, it's very impactful.
Most internship programs end at the end of the summer. Our model is built to be year-round because that's what we think learning is. It's year-round. The mentorship is so that you have a personal coach for the rest of your life.
After their internship, they have questions. Now what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? How am I going to get that full-time job? And that's what we help them do to transition onto their career.
Inroads are supporting people with diverse backgrounds, with diverse upbringings. I'm so grateful for everything they've done for me.
There are tons of different people in every organization that don't look like me, that don't look like you. We got to work together. We're people.
I think my father's legacy is Inroads. He got it started and it's continued. The Inroads group has just done it.
He really wanted this to be run by the folks that it was meant to serve. What I see here today, oh my gosh, it's thrived, and it looks like it's going to keep going forever and ever.
All right. So that's the story of how Inroads started. And what's really unique about this video is that Arun, I guess I would say I had the pleasure of being his program manager during his time in Inroads. Why I was not in the video is still the mystery that I need to have solved, because that should have been me and not Pierre. That's a story for another day. But Arun had one great internship with Aldi, and even though he did a great job and he was offered a return offer, he decided that he wanted to do something different. And that's what an internship is all about, is to help you understand what you like and what you don't like. We offer the opportunity for you to explore the art of the possible and for you to achieve those ideas and dreams that you would like to do. So his second year, he went to Procter & Gamble in Cincinnati. And as you can see, he just outdid what Procter & Gamble thought it was possible to do. So he was given an offer for a full-time position at Procter & Gamble. And I received a phone call from our CEO and said, Robert, how can we get Arun to accept this offer? And, knowing all the interns as closely as I tried to, it was, well, unless you have a position in New York City on Wall Street, it's not going to happen. Because Arun had it in his mind that he wanted to do consulting, taking what he learned. So now, make a long story short, I did get a chance to spend some time with him at Cornell when he, in his last year, because my goddaughter attends Cornell, and we had dinner, and he had made the decision that he wanted to go to work for Deloitte in their consulting group. So as of today, that's where he's at. But the relationships that we initiate in Inroads don't end just because the internship ends. So that's one of the things that I want to share with you, is that this is the family. So let me share some ideas about how you can become a part of Inroads, and there'll be a chance for you to ask questions as well. So we're gonna, allow you the opportunity to interact as much as possible here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up and give you a chance to ask questions at an appropriate time. So one of the things that we really need to do as a takeaway here is to get you into our candidate pool. So how do we do that? We have an Inroads sign-in page that will, one, account for your attendance here for Inroads, and then you will receive a same-day reminder to apply to Inroads. And it literally looks like this, and it takes about 90 seconds to fill out. So what you can do now, if you would, you can just take a photo of this, or I can type into the chat box this address where you can apply. And this is something that you don't have to do now, especially since we're in session here, but we do want to capture the fact that you were here, and it will allow us to gauge, where should we spend our time in the future in going to different schools and different events to see exactly where we're going to be able to find talent in the future. So I'll just share with this little fact with you right now about what's going on in our world, if you're not aware. And Dr. Yancey, I'm sure that you can probably vouch for this. With the activities that have happened since the passing of George Floyd and other incidents, social justice has been made a priority in corporate America. So what companies are doing now is they're saying, we need to look hard and fast at what we could be doing differently in our workplaces to have a workforce that looks like our country, and also giving individuals a chance who we've just overlooked in the past. So our numbers now for interns is at an all-time high. It's never been this high since I've been here in Inroads. The number of intern positions that we're trying to fill this year will be close to 2,000, but we do not have 2,000 candidates to fill, and we're getting new business all the time. So we want to let you know that there is an opportunity for you, but this is where it starts with this application process. Okay. All right. I'm going to keep going. So understanding Inroads. We are a leadership development program that focuses on your training from the time that you apply, by helping develop your resume, helping you to develop some interpersonal skills, helping to develop your interview skills, so that when you are matched to an internship opportunity, we're able to give you that chance to enter corporate America, whether you are a first-time college or first-generation college student, or if your family, you come from a long line of people being in college, we want to make sure that you're prepared. So we're not a recruitment agency, because our job continues after the recruiting phase. We're not a placement agency, because our job continues after you're placed in the internship from a coaching, mentoring, and development standpoint. Okay. So what's in it for you? Shared resume preparation. We can talk as family, since we are here as a group, that oftentimes resumes need CPR, because you don't know what you don't know. So our job here is to help you craft a resume that, once it's sent to a company, it's not going to end up in the circular file, because it's not appealing to look at. Because that's part of what Inroads does. We have a brand. We want to make sure that the resumes have a solid presentation, and an opportunity to say that Joe Smith is marketable and someone that I want to consider interviewing. And that's what the resume should do, is give you the opportunity to receive that interview. We prepare you for the interview. We have a knowledge of what the companies are looking for. And over the course of time, we're going to build a list of questions that have been commonly asked in interviews. So our job is to give you as many tips as possible to reduce your anxiety, to increase your confidence, to get the interview, be successful, and to get the internship. During our monthly coaching sessions and during the summer, we have professional development seminars that will help develop a lot of your soft skills through case studies, through presentations of our clients and our alumni. We also will do small groups. You'll have an opportunity to compete in fun activities, and also, build relationships and find friends. The bonus is the internship, because the tips that we're teaching you, you can take anywhere. If you get the internship with Inroads, that's fine. If you get the internship through recruiting efforts on campus or through referrals, that's fine too. But we want you to take an opportunity to learn how to become that professional who can be attractive to receive an internship wherever, because an internship should lead into a full-time role. So Inroads is that leadership development organization that will provide students with student development. The internship is the bonus, because we cannot promise internships. Okay, the history, we're going to skim through this because you had a chance to see the video. But I will just point out that we have over 250 corporate partners, and that number is growing every day. As I mentioned, the activities of our past year has sparked an interest for companies to step up the diversity hiring. So we're seeing a big push there. Due to the pandemic, we're not physically able to get on campuses, but we're doing virtual events like this. But most of the recruiting that's done is done either by interns sharing opportunities about Inroads to their friends, or other Inroads alumni sharing their experience and encouraging their friends or their children to apply to Inroads. The talent footprint, just real quick. So the area of my responsibility is down at the bottom: Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. But just know that in this current environment, internships are still going to occur, but I would say probably 80 to 90% of these internships are going to be virtual. And that's because, as you know, the pandemic, a lot of companies have not gone back to work. The pandemic has caused a change in strategy with many companies, where they're going to say, well, we feel that this work at home environment is not only saving money, it's increasing productivity, et cetera. But companies are increasing the way in which they have engagement opportunities. So your internship, even though it could be virtual, the companies are still going to have events where you can mix and mingle with executives, mix and mingle with other interns. You have an opportunity to mix and mingle with your team. Now, I know that being on these video and Zoom calls can be overwhelming, but just a tip from me to you: the more that you are engaged by being on camera, the more you will get an opportunity to actually connect with people. And I think that's something that I just want to leave with you as a hint. Now, for those internships that are going to be in person, there are still companies that will relocate you to another part of the country. So I am actually working on a client now that wants a supply chain major to go to New Hampshire. That may not be very easy, because in this pandemic, someone may not want to be that far away from home. but just knowing that there are going to be other interns there and the company is going to provide a stipend to cover the cost of housing and transportation while you're there, that could be an opportunity to see another part of the country, still learn about this company, and then also consider that if I spend a summer in New Hampshire, is there an opportunity for maybe for my career to start in Houston because they have operations there? So that's what you should be thinking when you are given an opportunity where relocation is possible. So this is just a list of the recruited majors. And if I were to put it into a nutshell, we're talking business, engineering, technology. And there's a group of others where we have some companies that have specialized needs. Zoetis is one of them, and they are the country's largest corporation on animal health. So that's becoming big. So we're starting to see a need for biology majors, for example. But if I were to put my eggs in the basket, the first three columns is where we see 80% of all the internships opportunities. But all majors can apply with the hope that your major will be identified and needed by a partnering company. Okay. All right. So getting to how do you get into the candidate pool? We talked a little bit about the inroads.org /apply. That gives you the opportunity to receive a 10-minute online application where you're going to upload a resume and a transcript and answer a couple questions on demographics, geographical preferences, etc. Ideally, even though today is March 10th, it is not too late to apply. But I would strongly say that if we are having this conversation on April 30th, it most likely is going to be too late. Now, I will share with you in talking to my interns and talking to some of the clients that most internships are going to start the middle of May. You can complete these steps that I'll go through literally in a week, depending on how committed you are and how much you want to prioritize taking the time to do what I'm about to share with you. So the step 2, the orientation and training, is a candidate prep session workshop, which is a 2-hour webinar where we will cover the expectations of being in Inroads, similar to what we're doing now, the proper tips and tools needed for a resume, which has to be reviewed and passed before we can share with the client, and then the impression management tips, which includes, how to leave a proper voicemail or have a proper greeting or in a proper email address. And I've seen a little bit of everything, so I'm not going to go there, but you can imagine some email addresses aren't what we would call politically correct. And then we will spend most of the time just on interview tips, because I would think that most of you probably are still learning to be comfortable being uncomfortable interviewing. So by raise of hands, how many of you would say that you're pretty comfortable interviewing? It's okay if you're not. Okay. Not seeing very many hands, Dr. Yancey. So that's okay, because interviewing is something that comes with time. It comes with practice, and that's what we're going to help develop those skills. So after that, we'll actually give you a mock interview, which is basically like a hire view. It's self-recorded video mock interview where we have standard questions, and one of the Inroads managers will give you feedback before we can match you to a client. Now, like I said, today being March 10th, there's still a large population of companies that you could be considered for an interview. But does that mean that your major is going to be included? So I guess what I'm saying here is the longer that you wait to complete these steps, the greater chance that you're going to miss out on an opportunity because your major may not be in demand by the companies that are still filling positions. So being a corporate match means that we have the opportunity to be matched to internships but the match cannot be guaranteed because of timing and availability and where you are in the process. One of the biggest challenges that I see is candidates will start the process, meaning step one, but they won't get to step two, and they won't get to step three, and they won't get to step four. And many members of the Inroads team won't look at candidates who have not made it to step four. Now, for example, and I'll just be honest with you, I will work with candidates who maybe have just completed step two, because we can meet and we can do a mock interview to prepare you for the internship that I am working on. So for example, if I'm working on Enbridge, and Enbridge does have positions for accounting that I'll get to in a moment. If you haven't completed your mock interview, and I know that they have scheduled an interview for you, we'll meet to prepare for the Enbridge interview and complete this mock interview step at the same time. That's what my approach is. Many individuals in Inroads will do the same, or you will be mandated to complete the process, because everyone has to complete the process in order to accept an internship. All right. So, why Inroads? We talked about this, and you get the training. There's no need to search for internships on your own, even though I know many of you probably are, and there's nothing wrong with that. But with the number of positions that we have available, there really may not be a need to search on your own. But we're also going to give you access to earn income, an opportunity to gain your skills, gain confidence, and to build your professional network. You're going to receive ongoing coaching and guidance to help you with the difficult questions that you may have about school, your major, your internship, whether it's before the internship starts, during the internship, or afterwards. And you're going to gain access to a network of professionals, both locally, regionally, nationally, as an alumni of Inroads. And I will share that people who meet in Inroads, who also have possibly met in NABA, relationship starts and marriages happen. So you just never know who you're going to meet and how that relationship will blossom in the future. So just some helpful reminders to apply to Inroads and submit your full internship application, 10 minutes, upload your resume and a transcript, complete the 3-step process that we just spoke to, complete within 30 days. My encouragement would be for you all to complete this process within the next couple of weeks. The candidate prep sessions are scheduled for 50 people for each session, and there's usually 2 sessions each day during the week and 1 on Saturdays to help you with prioritizing your schedule to the schedule to get these things done. The mock interview can be recorded at your leisure, but it does take probably 2 weeks to get back. But again, the team is willing to work with you, whether you are in process or you need to get it done. Somebody will take the time to conduct a mock interview with you, give you the feedback, and check off that requirement if your interview is successful. Internship sourcing starts usually in August and may run through June. It just really depends, because most internships will start mid-May, no later than probably mid-June. So very few internships will start after that. Internships are typically 8 to 12 weeks. The reason why it's saying 4 to 12 weeks here is that in the pandemic, some internships were cut short because companies had to pivot from an in-person experience to a virtual experience and just decided to reduce the time. We are a leadership development program, and we are expecting our interns to remember always that they are representing Inroads at a partner company. And recruitment at inroads.org is the address where if you have questions, you can always feel free to ask. All right. So before I bring Janelle on to share her experience, let me just, give you some common feedback here real quick. The application deadline, it's today. And what I mean by that is the longer you wait, the greater you risk the opportunity to be matched to an opportunity by seeing the positions that would be a fit for your major would go away. Can you apply if your GPA is below 3.0? The answer to that question used to be no, but now companies are being a little bit more open to GPAs below 3.0, but in some cases, the requirement for an internship could be a 3.2 or higher. So the answer is yes, you can apply if your GPA is below a 3.0, but you may not be eligible for some positions. Are international students eligible to apply? The answer is yes. However, I will share that there are very few companies that will hire a international student for an internship because of the commitment that is needed to sponsor a student after graduation. It's not an automatic no, and it's not an automatic yes, but some companies are very specific about who they will consider. Are internships guaranteed? The answer is no. And again, because our job is to match the talent to internship opportunities, it is up to the company to select the candidates who have been interviewed that Inroads presents to that company. Our job is to make sure that you are prepared and ready, but the final decision is between the company and the candidate, because the candidate could decline an internship offer due to whatever their specific reasons are. It could be pay, could be location, could be hours, could be they find they have to go to summer school, etc. And I think we've already talked about when internships start and is there a cost to apply to Inroads? The answer is no. So with that being said, I'm just going to let this be a snapshot of what some of the partner companies that we have. Just real quick, some of the companies that I particularly work with would include AIG, AT&T, Southern Company Gas, which is downtown Houston. Shell is one of my larger clients. We have 12 interns each summer. Aldi is one of my clients, and Chevron is one of my clients. So that gives you an idea of what some of the partner companies are. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing here for a second. And does anyone have any specific questions that I could answer for you before I let Janelle share her Inroads experience? And then I want to end by sharing some current internship opportunities that are specific to accounting majors, not knowing whether all of you are accounting majors or business majors. In many cases, the internships are general for a business major, which would include accounting majors. So we'll get to that in a moment. But does anyone have any specific questions that I can answer before I bring Janelle on?
I do have one question, Robert.
Yeah.
Do you need to be in school in order to like apply for this program, the Inroads program?
So yes, you should be currently a full-time student enrolled in a four-year college or university.
Okay, good.
Because that would be one of the requirements to the company, because they're going to want to see a transcript, but it's also a requirement for Inroads. So when you upload that, we are able to validate that you are a full-time student currently enrolled in at least 12 credits.
Okay. And if you're like applying for like a master's program, does that also count? Or are they looking more for undergraduate?
It's specifically undergrad. We have one government client that is open to master's students. So you can still apply, but just know for any of the undergraduate internships, you would not be eligible. But that government client could be one that would consider you for one of their internships, and that's the Bureau of Land Management out of Washington, D.C. They have different locations across the country, and they would be the one organization that I would know of. So you could still apply, but just know that that's the restriction that I would see.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Well, to keep the show moving, I want to bring forth one of your own, Ms. Janelle Jones. She can start by introducing herself and answer the questions that I shared with her earlier.
Hey guys, I know some of you, there's a lot of new faces in here too. If I haven't met you before, I'm Janelle. I am interning with Alvarez and Marsal this summer. It should start here in June 1st. The Inroads process is really easy. I was sitting in one of these meetings last semester, learning about all the information. Right after this, I went online and filled out that application. It literally takes 10 minutes or less to read everything, put in your information, and then wait for a response back. I think I finished everything in about a week to go through and schedule my 2-hour process to get all the information. And then I sat down and did my mock interviews and uploaded everything that I needed to upload. As soon as I finished, I think my 2-hour session, I was already getting emails sent to me from other managers on different opportunities that were available. The one that I did see is Alvarez and Marsal is here in Houston. And that was one of my major things that I was looking for, was something close by where I wouldn't have to travel very far. Some of the ones that you get sent, you might see that are, other states or other areas of Texas. And I didn't really want to travel. So when that one had popped up, I had messaged the manager in charge of that and was like, hey, I'm in the process of getting all of my things in, and but I'm super interested in this opportunity. And we met, and he was like, okay, well, as long as you're committed to getting everything done, I have no problem with you doing it concurrently. And that's what I did. I really worked hard to get my resume built. They'll send you like a template of how they want it done, and you send it off. And I think within that week, I got 2 different responses from other people as to how to update it or how to make it better, or maybe changing wording on things and sitting on phone calls or Zoom meetings to talk about different ways to make things better. Once that was all in, we went ahead and submitted my resume to Alvarez and Marsal. I think it took 2 interviews of sitting down in Zoom meetings like this and talking about, the different aspects of the job and going through all the different types of interview questions. It was honestly pretty painless. I mean, if you think about it, you're used to, talking about yourself and things like that. And if you have a question, I mean, everybody's super easy to talk to. You send off an email, pick up the phone and say, hey, I have a question about this. This is how I'm feeling about going into this. And someone's always there to help you get over those anxieties and move forward and put your best foot forward. I think it took a month of 2 interviews, the application process to go ahead and finish with the interview process. And I think it was a few weeks afterwards, I had gotten an answer back from them. They were really trying to schedule us in to have their interns situated. And then with everything with COVID, we didn't know if we were going to actually be in person or not. I think right now we're looking at it being virtually. They moved it back to June 1st, so it's virtually. But I mean, it's really easy. I meet with Mr. Dunlap here once a month. We talk about everything, where we're at, what's going on with my internship, we sit down and set goals and prioritize what's most important, what we're trying to get out of the internship, where I need to work on things, things that I need help with. And I mean, he's always available if you ever need him for anything. I just sent him an email not that long ago about an issue that I was having with one of my classes, and I just needed advice on how to handle something. And all of the managers are super available, and they make themselves available to you to answer any kind of questions that you have, and anything that you have with your internship, with your classes, any anxieties that you have on, you know, finishing your degree, or if you have something that's happening and you just need someone to turn to. It really is that family style where everybody is super available. Everybody is willing to answer questions, give advice, and help you out with whatever you need to do. I mean, I have fun being here. I think you guys should definitely, you know, go ahead and apply and see if there's something out there for you. I'm constantly, I think I've sent some of the internships through our group chat before too, to let anybody know if something comes through and pops up. I'm real easy about, hey, like, I have my internship, but maybe this is something that you're interested in. And I think that helps out a lot, that you find other people that are like-minded, that are thinking the same way as you, and everybody's willing to help out. No matter what, everybody's willing to help out.
Thank you. And Dr. Yancey, you have a question?
I do. I do. So Janelle, you gave Mr. Dunlap my job?
I mean, not necessarily. I come to both of y'all when I have questions. I just recently I had messaged him instead.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, we're gonna share each other's expertise, and
absolutely.
You know, obviously, you know, Janelle's a homegirl. I mean, literally, I found out in our first conversation is always getting to know each other. And she said, well, I saw in her application that she's from Holt, Michigan, but she has family that went to my high school, either just before or just after. So I'm still trying to figure out, going through my yearbook, who that might be. But
I'm pretty sure it's one of my aunts that you graduated with, and your brother graduated with my mom and her sister.
What? See, who knew? Who knew? So, but you know, again, nothing is guaranteed, but the learning and development, once you get it, you can take anywhere. I mean, our job is to really help take away the anxiety and help you to prepare for, you know, a new beginning. Because in many cases, no one in your family's gone to college, but we're here to help you enter into corporate America. And let me share this before I open up for other questions. You know, Inroads has been around for 50 years. And can anyone, you know, just give me a guess with a number of fingers? How many Black women CEOs in the Fortune 500 are there as of today? Does anyone know? Ooh, I see. Is that a confident three, or because you could like flipping back and forth? So Molly says 3, Dom says 3. Everyone else is not going to go out there. Oh, okay. Pukar said 2. The answer is 2. And the most recent one is as of last week. Satan, we call her T. Duckett, but her name is Sasandra Duckett. She went to U of H.
Yep.
And she has her undergraduate degree or graduate degree from Baylor, where my wife went to school. She's an Inroads alum. And she is responsible for the commitment behind JP Morgan Chase into Inroads. But what she constantly says in every written article or, you know, interviews is that she accredits a lot of her growth and development to Inroads. Okay, so there are other people who have reached very significant levels in their career, and they point to the lessons and the opportunities that they had in Inroads to getting to where they are. So this can be the start of something big. I'm not saying that Janelle will be the CEO of Alvarez Marsal or maybe somewhere else, but maybe that's a goal. And that's one of the reasons why working on goals is to stretch yourself and to see how much you can push yourself through grit, determination, perseverance, being resilient, all those things that you don't really understand how important it is to get you from here to there. So that's a thought. Does anyone else have anything else they want to share or ask in a question before I share some current opportunities that we are looking for talent for? Anyone? Okay. And there was no prize to that. I was just wondering who was following the news these days. It's actually pretty exciting, to be honest with you. Okay, let me go ahead and go back to the presentation, and I will give you a couple of opportunities that are currently being considered in Inroads. Let me get back to the Zoom. Here we are, and let me share. Where is it? That's not it. Let me stop sharing. Okay, here's the presentation, and here's the Zoom. All right, here we go. All right, let's get to the bottom. All right, so on this page here, here are some accounting business related internship positions that are currently being sourced by Inroads managers, whether it's myself or others in the state of Texas, for the state of Texas. Elbit Systems, this is Dallas, and it is going to be in person as I know of it right now. You'll be managing a portion of the accounts payable. So really getting your hands dirty, so to speak, in account management and understanding the impact on the financials. The independent financial role in Dallas is in person. Relocation is available. You will use a lot of your business and accounting in this business role, but it will be a multitude of projects that you will have the responsibility for owning and delivering. Next Era Energy is in Houston, guaranteed to be virtual. Business infrastructure intern, if you have an interest in the energy sector, taking your business background would be very beneficial. And these last two opportunities were brought to us by Inroads alums. The Enbridge opportunity that I think many of you have seen, because I did share it with Adrian last week, they are looking for 3 accounting interns. And for whatever reason, there has been a challenge finding enough people for consideration. And this is guaranteed to be in person as we speak. And as you may not know, Enbridge is also another energy provider. And then Kroger, here in Houston, this is in person. You will use your business background as a retail management intern to manage projects and activities in a rotation in various aspects of Kroger business in one of their districts or areas. So those are just some positions, but as I said, more and more positions are being shared with us each day. So let me just stop to see if anyone has any specific questions about what I'm sharing here. Because what I can do is put these job descriptions in a package, but of course, in order for you to be eligible, you would have to apply to Inroads before we could engage a Inroads approved resume to the clients. But I will share with you that time is of the essence for all of these. And all of these, they want to start interviewing within the next 10 days or less. So, if you're serious and you want to go ahead and apply, like Janelle said, these could be positions that you could be considered, mainly because you're here in Houston and mainly because there seems to be either a lack of accounting related talent in Houston, or the individuals that are currently in our talent pool have internships and just aren't needing another opportunity, and we just don't know about it. So that's what I would share with each of you. Does anyone have any questions? Let me go ahead and stop sharing. Okay, I do see something in the chat, Okay, are you connected to one? You can send an email to me. You have my email address at the last page here. Why did I do that? Let me do that right here. Okay, can you see this? Okay, let me put my screen back up there again with my contact information. All right. Get to the last page, and we're going to go ahead and head out. All right. So here is my contact information here. If anybody needs to have an offline conversation by phone or by email, or any follow-up questions that you may have. So I'm going to go ahead and ask one more time if there's any questions that I could answer for anybody right now. That would be great. If not, we're going to go ahead and turn it back over to our president here for final comments. Oh, and again, please take a snapshot of the inroads.org/sign in, and that's where we will see your information come through to remind you to apply to Inroads. So I'll go ahead and leave that up for a few moments, and thank you all for your time being present, and Janelle, thank you as well for taking time out to be with us here tonight. All right, Shamika, back to you, or back to Adrian.
Thank you everyone for showing up. Adrian, do you have anything to say?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Dunlap, for taking the time out of your day to let us know about inroads and opportunities that y'all have. And Janelle, thank you for coming out too to speak and give us your testimony on how great an organization this is. And just like to thank you for tonight. Everybody apply, like you said, please. Like he said earlier, there's over 2,000 places, over 2,000 job opportunities, but not enough applications, not enough people trying to apply. So it's up to us to go out there and get it, and refer somebody if you think you can't do it, or if you feel like you're about to graduate, or if you're in your master's program. Refer people. Let people know about this, because I didn't know about this till not too long ago. So spread the word. Thank you again, Mr. Dunlap.
And very welcome. Yeah. All right, Dr. Yancey, anything else, or?
No, just thank you once again for being here. Thanks to Janelle for showing up, all the members and guests that are here. And if you do apply, please let me know as well.
Yeah, we would certainly like to see the number of interns from the university reach 10. Right now we're at 2. I'm certain that we can make this happen. So go ahead and apply, and let's see what happens.
All right, and share with your classmates that are in other disciplines, right? If you're taking a marketing class, share this information with them as well.
Yeah, all those business roles are open to any business major, except for the Enbridge role, where they're specifically looking for 3 accountants. So go for it.
Will do. Thank you so much.
All right, very welcome. All right, everyone, have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you for showing up. We appreciate
it. Thank you, Shamika. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So I'm